If you're in a place where you think you might be too old to pursue your dreams or that it's too late to pursue your dreams, by the end of this video, I'm going to tell you why that's not true and how to get after it. Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video because it is all about pursuing your dreams, and I'm going to share a life update about my dreams that I'm currently pursuing that I have not told anyone, and I'm finally ready to share kind of what I've been working on behind the scenes. So let's get into it. First big reveal I have is what I have been working on lately. Of course you want to know what it is. I want to share it with you, but in order to share the dreams that I've been working on, which you will hear by the end of this, I promise, there has to be some backstory as to why. So I think it's important for you all to know a little more information about my childhood. Whether you asked for it or not, this is my channel and you're here. So I hope you want to know this information. When I was in second grade, the movie Titanic came out. I promise you this is relevant. The second I walked out of the movie theater, I told my mom, I want to be an actress. This is probably the worst movie to tell her this information too, because of this like whole nudity scene, which was like such a big deal, you can imagine, when it came out during its time. And I tell her, and she says to me in Telugu, "Cheat nor mui," which means stop it, shut up, basically. And it was one of those moments where, of course, that was her visceral reaction just based on her knowledge of what the movie industry in India was, and that's not the case necessarily here. But also I think obviously it's just such a career that is not encouraged necessarily because education was so at the forefront. So I think that was her way of just not even being able to process that that's where my mind would go. And so from that moment on, I honestly kind of tucked that dream away. I really did. And I remember maybe later that year I had said, oh, I think I want to be a doctor. And then you're met with so much love and so much, oh, we're so proud of you from your family. But in my heart of hearts, in little Nina's heart, I just really wanted to perform. Then I started singing, and the very first song I sang was My Heart Will Go On. Like, I did that for my second grade talent show, like little 8-year-old Nina, like just like belting her heart out in this like little gold dress, wanting so badly to be a singer, and I loved every moment of it. And when I sang, I remember I was encouraged to sing because I also always sang every week with my family when we did weekly bhajans at our house. I was like one of the best singers in my class in middle school in 8th grade. And that's when you start going to like state competitions. And then when I went to high school, I just didn't have enough time in my schedule to choose choir. So I didn't continue singing, but I would sing outside of school. So when I competed in the teen pageant, I was competing for Miss Michigan Teen, I started singing and I sang for my talent, which all of those stories are separate stories, but I'm focusing on the singing. And so I sang for my talent. And so I had kind of really been wanting to always build this muscle. And I'm trained in ballet, jazz, tap point, also Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi, which are the Indian art forms, but that kind of tucked singing away again. And then obviously when I went to college, I continued to dance, but singing was just not at the forefront, and I kind of left that piece behind. Fast forward to when I win Miss America, and they're like, hey, can you sing? Because when you win Miss America, if you're a dancer, you actually never perform your talent. Because that's not your job. Like, you can't like just like be like, sure, I'll change in this random bathroom and I'll put on a show for you. Like, it's actually very weird. But if you're a singer, it's actually much easier to sing your talent when you're traveling on the road. You're literally going from one event to the next, and you live out of 2 suitcases. You don't ever have a home base. You're just going from one event to another for that entire year. So it's a lot. And so even as a dancer, it's hard to keep up with that training. And as a singer, you have a little more flexibility because you can practice. So they're like, well, if you can sing, we can have you sing the national anthems or God Bless America. And I had thrown out the first pitch at the Phillies, and they were like, do you want to sing? I sang at the Macy's parade. There was quite a few like parade opportunities that I was like singing in.
Riding on the float is Nina Davaluri. She is Miss America 2014. Look at there. She joins us with a performance of God Bless America.
God bless America, my home, sweet home.
That is right, Miss America.
And so that was fun, but I guess it was just really basic stuff and I still wasn't training. And then in 2014, Frozen came out. And this was pivotal and very important because when Frozen came out, there was something inside me, and I can't explain what it is, but there was something inside me that just felt so connected to let it go. For so many reasons, I wanted to sing that song, and I thought, okay, if I work really hard this year, I can sing it for my farewell song. And I remember trying to sing it, and the only way I can describe it is that in my heart, I knew that I could, but my head was telling me that I couldn't, and my voice didn't know how. And that's the only way I can describe that feeling, because there was a part of me that was just like, this is so stupid. How can you possibly sing this song? Like, why would you even go after a song like this? Like, this is just ridiculous. But there was something deep inside that was like, you can do this, you can do this. And so my head overtook my heart at that point, which, if you are going through that, if you feel this, even if it's a tiny glimmer of your heart wanting something and your mind immediately saying, no, that's not realistic, or, oh no, it's too late, or it's too hard, or you're too old, that is not true. I promise you that is not true, because it is never too late, and you're gonna have that feeling in your heart for a long time. It is always going to be there. And that was true for me. So after Miss America, I went into hosting. I hosted a reality show for ZTV. Some of you may have seen it. It was called Made in America, which I learned a lot through that. And that's when I really started producing, because I was also producing on that side. And while I loved hosting, I really felt that with hosting specifically, it didn't feel as creatively fulfilling as I would have wanted it. And so with that experience, I thought to myself, I think I really have to revisit 8-year-old Nina's dream. I guarantee you, if you go back to your childhood, and I think this is a really helpful exercise, at least it was for me, is think about 5 pivotal moments. And these 5 moments are going to come up really quickly. Just 5 pivotal moments in your childhood that you felt changed you. And if you start with those 5, start with those 3, even 1, just go to 1. I think that helped me unravel what I really wanted to follow. And the story I told you at the beginning was really that story for me. I thought to myself, I have to follow little 8-year-old Nina. Like, she was onto something. The only reason why I'm not right now is because of myself. Like, I'm the one at this point not giving myself permission to pursue acting or pursue performing. And so from there, I decided to start with 1 acting class. Start small. That is the best advice, is just start small, because I didn't know if I was gonna like acting necessarily. It was just something I thought I would like, but I didn't know for sure. So start small and see if that is something that you do like. Like, actually do the thing. Don't just like dive in 100%. I don't necessarily think that's the way to go. If it is and it's worked out for you, that's great. But for me, I was like, I just need to try this to know how I feel. And so I started with 1 acting class, and of course I loved it. Your girl loved it. And that's when I was like, I think I need to do this. This is the other thing. If there are people in your life that don't support that, cut them out of your life. And if you can't cut them out of your life, draw a boundary and say, this is a topic we're not going to discuss. Because I also had a guy tell me, I am always telling dating stories. Like, what is my life? I was dating someone at this time, and he said to me, you know, I don't really think you're going to like acting. Like, that just doesn't seem like it's for you, and dealing with rejection. And I was like, okay, first of all, you don't know me, because that is absolutely not true. Like, I know this in my bones to be true, that I'm meant to be creative. And the fact that you don't know me is a sign that you gotta go. So that did not continue. Anyways, so then that's when I went to theater school. I went to Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute, which is in New York. It is method acting, and I personally loved the method for me because it's really just like putting so much of your life experiences, and I've had so many life experiences, which I'm fortunate and also unfortunate. Not all of them are good necessarily, but of course all of them are a part of your journey. And to be able to put that into characters and storytelling and know that like a part of you is there was just the most freeing. And I loved the work. And I think the biggest thing acting unlocked for me was to let go of what everyone else thinks. And let me tell you, that is the hardest part, like, of stepping into this world, is letting go of what everyone thinks, especially when not only did I have the cultural connotation, right, of this, you know, in our community, what is everyone else gonna say? What is everyone else gonna think? But also in pageant world, like, I had literally lived my life seeking validation from a group of 5 to 7 judges that determined me the winner. Like, that is how I grew up thinking and lived 25 years of my life. So to go to theater school and have to undo all of that took years. and I wouldn't be able to share this if I wasn't on the other side of it, which again is so freeing. But I'm so happy that I followed that dream, because while I was there, there was a musical theater class that you could take. And of course I was hella curious to get back into it. Also, a part of this is listen to the universe, because the universe will give you signs if you are looking for them. I wholeheartedly, truly believe that, because during this time I was in theater school, I wanted to kind of dabble in this musical theater class. I had gotten an audition for Jasmine for the Disney Live remake. This was back in, this must have been 2018, I think. So I had gotten the audition for Jasmine, and obviously I didn't get it, but this was my first movie audition ever, was this movie, which is daunting. And I didn't know what sides were. I didn't know any of the industry. I was just so green, like I didn't know anything. And so I was sent, like, here's the sides, which is basically the scene that you're supposed to self-tape and read and share, and then you get the sheet music for Jasmine. And of course I know a whole new world, you guys, like, of course I knew it. And I did the self-tape. I thought I did as well as I could with that time that I had to turn it around, and I never heard back. And that's okay, because from that audition, I was like, ah, I like this thing. There's something more here, and I think I could actually do this if I worked at it. The pivotal moment of when I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm actually gonna start taking voice lessons, was when I got my second ever audition. And that was for a musical that is out. It's called Bangin' It, and it was about Indian dance teams on college campuses, which was obviously brilliant. I still haven't seen it, and I want to see it. But it was for that, and I was so excited about it because obviously they were looking for South Asian dancers, and I knew I checked that box, like acting, check, got it. Singing came up again, and I was like, ooh, like, oh, I think I got it. And so that was my first in-person Broadway audition. I stumble in, same thing, really green, this is another thing, except that you are going to be bad at something that you love. And the thing is that I wasn't necessarily bad at it, right? Like, there's things that you're gonna follow in your life that you know inherently that you're good at, that you're pulled to, that you're drawn to, that you're connected to, whatever industry that is. So there is a baseline of knowing that this is something you're good at or meant to be doing and that you enjoy, and that's important. But once you get past that, you have to accept that you're gonna be the worst amongst the best. And that's the learning process, because you're a beginner, you're entering an entirely new space. I think that is so, so important, and you have to know yourself to know if you're willing to check your ego at the door, because that is 100% what I had to do. I went into that musical audition for Bangin' It. I did not get it. I did a terrible job. I like fell on my face. But from that experience, I really walked away feeling, if I really worked on my voice, I feel like this is something that I could do well. And whatever that opportunity is, whatever comes next, I want to be able to at least be prepared. And when you're on this journey of having moments like that, because those are pivotal moments, if you are looking for a sign, you will more than likely find one, because the universe does have your back. And once I decided, you know, I think this is going to be something I'm really going to actively pursue, I was looking for a voice teacher, and I found my voice teacher. Her name is Priyadarshini. She is amazing. She was actually a Grammy Award winning artist. Please check out her music. It is beautiful, it is dreamy, it is soulful, it is everything. And what I really loved is that she, you know, understood like sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, and then also do re mi fa sol la ti do. So I really wanted to learn kind of both Indian classical Carnatic music and then also, you know, like the, I guess, English version. And so I started training with her, and I worked with her for a year and a half doing the work. Like, there is no shortcut to getting good at something. I guarantee you that. To know if something is a dream, it has to be something that you are going to wake up every day and no one is going to hold you accountable except yourself, and you're going to still do it. Because sitting down to practice, you have to make time for that. Whatever skill, craft, industry, whatever it is you might be doing, like, this is something you have to actively do for yourself and be committed to do for yourself. Otherwise, no one's gonna do it for you. So be ready to have the self-motivation to actively want to wake up, and this is knowing what you want to do, because trust me, there are a lot of days where I was like, I do not want to practice today, and I wasn't gonna get in trouble if I didn't practice. Nothing bad was gonna happen to me if I didn't, but like, I so badly wanted it, and I knew that I had to just like get over the hill. Truly, like, once you start putting your dreams out there, which is my next lesson, then that's when things will start coming to you. But you have to articulate it first to yourself. I think it starts inward, and you're like, oh, I know this is happening. And then you start thinking to it to yourself, and then you start sort of doing it privately. And then once you start speaking it into existence amongst others, I think that's really when it starts taking off. Like, gets truly the momentum going. And so I started working with her, and then a year ago, I'm getting to the point. So in the past years that I had been training as an actor, I had been using my Miss America scholarship money, and I still had scholarship money left to use that I was waiting to decide what I wanted to put that towards. And finally, being almost 10 years removed from Miss America, I really had the time to explore acting, explore performing, explore business. I did all of those things. I was able to truly sit down and say, I really want to pursue a performing arts degree in vocal performance. Because at this point, I'm not going back to school to get a degree. That's not what I'm looking for. That's not what I need. But if I could go back to school for fun, maybe it's the immigrant in me that's like, okay, I do want to get a degree. But what I told myself is that I'm only going to use this money for something that I truly desire. And if it could be anything in the world, what would you go back to school for? And it was vocal performance, 100%, no doubt, no question in my mind. And so I started looking into grad schools, and I knew I wanted to stay in New York. I wasn't about to like leave New York for that because this is gonna be fun. And that's when I started looking into graduate programs. And so basically, the only one that I could apply to, I had one shot, was NYU. It was the very, very end of their deadline, and I applied to NYU. I sent in a really bad audition tape. I mean, I did as good as I could for that moment, but looking back on it, it's so fun to actually see the progress that you've made. I remember as I was applying, I was kind of embarrassed of like my audition tape, because I was like, I don't know if I have a shot at this. Obviously, I've put in work, and if it's meant to be, it will be. I'm just gonna shoot my shot because I have to. I told myself, if I get accepted, then I know I'm meant to continue this. If not, it's just not meant for me. And what is meant to be yours will truly be yours. But there was a moment where I have a really, really amazing mentor in my life. And a person that I care deeply about said, you know, I'm not sure if this is for you. It's not to say like, don't keep singing. I think you should absolutely keep singing. But a performing arts program is really intensive, and you're gonna have to dedicate a lot of your time. And given all of the things that you have going on for you, which I know are a lot and I'm grateful for, this might not be the best option. And I deeply thought about it. It was a moment where I paused and I thought, oh, like, should I be doing this? Do I really want this? Like, is it worth my time? And I'm grateful for that moment, because I was able to wholeheartedly answer yes. Yes, I'm going to submit this application. I am going to see if this is meant to be for me. And I submitted my application a year ago, and I was accepted to NYU a year ago to pursue this degree. And I got accepted last year for their Master's in Vocal Performance program. And I started that a year ago. And it was truly, in some ways, a dream come true. And it has been such a challenging year vocally for me because I've never truly had like genuine, legit musical theater training voice lessons or even contemporary voice lessons in this kind of setting or capacity. And it has been, when I tell you, you gotta check your ego at the door and you have to accept that you're gonna be bad at something before you're gonna be good at it. I mean, every one of my classmates is so talented and so good, and there's so much beautiful talent in this world. But there are moments throughout the journey of this past year where I was like, oh, like, do I belong here? And when you get past those moments, and there were moments where it came really close, I was like, you know what? I just don't think this is for me. Like, I don't have the time. Like, I was getting overwhelmed with all the other commitments I have. But at the end of the day, what I came back to was, you know what? Like, regardless of a program or not program or school, it's really not about the degree that I care about at all. It's really just about continuing to sing. And I thought to myself, this is something that I love doing for me. And regardless of where this ends up, I don't care if I, get on Broadway. I don't care if I sing in public, or I'm not trying to necessarily be a superstar, pop star, any of that. I just want to do this for me because I can no longer sit at a Broadway show or musical theater performance and enjoy it because there was just a yearning inside me. I would watch the performers and the actors and singers on stage, and it wasn't a feeling of jealousy. That wasn't it. It was just like this deep desire to be doing what they were doing. And I had to follow that yearning. And I knew I could not sit in another theater seat if I was not actively pursuing that yearning inside of me, regardless of the outcome. And taking the outcome out of your dream is important, I think. And I feel like this can go either way, because I'm not saying that there shouldn't be a goal, because when I think about my dream was to sing. It didn't matter where it was just to sing. And so it doesn't have to be in all of these shiny accolades or recognition kind of way. It just had to be for me. And because I just wanted to sing, I never had like, I want to win a Grammy, I need to be in a Broadway role. Like, that wasn't the dream. That's just not what I thought inside. It was just, I want to sing because I know I can, and it brings me joy, and I can be good at it, and I enjoy learning it. So that was the dream. And I mean, I'm proud to say that like, I am following that dream because I am singing. And I have a performance coming up at Studio 54, which is a cabaret club here in New York, and it's almost like a rite of passage for any singer. And I'm really, really proud of this moment because it has been such a journey to get here. And I think of all the times that I could have easily just said, no, this isn't for me, or said, no, I'm out, or I let my head or whoever or outside voices get in the way. And to be on the other side of being able to say, yes, like I am accomplishing my dream. And arguably I have accomplished it because I wanted to sing, and I'm able to do that. And so dreams don't have to be shiny and lofty and what I think people, expect them to be, but I think they can also be for yourself, and they should actually be for yourself. And whatever happens from that dream will happen from it. Like, of course, I love to perform, so I want to continue doing it, and I will work to continue doing it. But the core of it is just returning to something that brought me joy. And I think that's what's really actually been so beautiful about this process, is that I'm able to find joy in the art, because it's not necessarily, oh, I have to get a job after this, or I have to make it as a singer after this. That pressure has been taken off. And if the opportunity is there, of course, like, yeah, I want to be in a musical. Like, yes, I would love to do a show or sing and like write music at some point in my life. I'm gonna say those things because I do want those things. I would love to do that. But again, if it's meant to come my way, it will. And all I can do is continue dreaming about maybe what's next, and follow that knowing inside of all of us, because it does exist. I know it exists, and it is a really beautiful process when you start following it and start stepping into it. And I hope that you will at least try living your dreams that you might have inside you right now. And I know we all have them, big, small, everything in between. And I hope that you will find a way to take the steps to move forward. The last thing I'll leave you with is when I said to one of my close friends, when I said, oh yeah, I'm actually going back to NYU to do my master's. And they were like, oh my gosh, you're so brave. Like, that takes so much courage. And I never thought that. Like, I just never thought like, oh, I'm so brave, I'm so courageous in doing this. I was just like, am I an idiot for doing this? Am I wasting my time doing this? But they're like, you know, a lot of people wouldn't even consider doing this after what you've accomplished. And I thought, that's insane. Like, why wouldn't I continue to want to chase things that I love doing or that bring me joy or have more dreams? I was like, first of all, I'm in my 30s. It's not like I'm 90 trying to pursue something new. And even if I were 90, you should be encouraging me to pursue something new. Like, we should all be continuing to learn and grow and dream. Like, just because you achieve one, it doesn't mean you stop. It doesn't mean it ends there. There's more. There's so much more to dig deeper into and continue. And as we change and evolve as human beings, like on the journey of life, like that is the beauty of all of it. So I hope that from this video, you feel a little more inspired to follow your dreams. Comment below if this was helpful. Please like the video. If you like videos like this, subscribe. It really does make a huge difference and helps build the community that I'm really hopeful that we can build here. And I want to know, what dreams have you started pursuing? What are you in the process of pursuing? What are you maybe going to start pursuing? Start putting it out. Put it in a comment. Like, just write it down and leave it for me here, because I would love to read them and hear what you all are thinking. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you next time.